Hi guys! Let's make a very spicy and delicious chicken soup today. It's called dakgaejang. It's not verified, but I believe it's a spin-off from the spicy beef soup called 육개장. This is part of the 3 chicken recipes using the drumsticks bought from Costco. This is not an everyday soup. It is somewhat labor intensive, but it's totally worth it. Let's go over the main ingredients. This is 1.5 pounds of drumsticks I bought from Costco. This is the main ingredient of this soup. It's called daepa, meaning giant green onion. Let me show you how big this is as compared to the scallions that we buy from supermarket. Almost 3 feet long. Bean sprouts. You can see it's going to be a spicy soup. Look, lots of gochugaru. And on top of that, we're adding gochujang. Those are dried árbol chilies, black peppercorns. I'm going to use dried shiitake mushroom, Korean radish, and perilla leaves. First thing I want to do, you guys, before I do anything is soak shiitake mushrooms in water. I'm going to quickly give it a rinse. And make sure when you're soaking shiitake mushroom, the stems touching the water. Okay, I'm going to set this aside. It can take up to an hour. 5 tablespoons gochugaru, 1 tablespoon vegetable oil, 1 tablespoon sesame seed oil. What we're trying to do is bloom the gochugaru. 3 tablespoons soup soy sauce. I want to show you 2 different types of soy sauce. It's really hard to tell. This one is the regular soy sauce that you're familiar with, and this is the soup soy sauce. This is lighter in texture, but it's saltier. Okay, that's 3. 2 tablespoons of regular soy sauce, and 1 tablespoon gochujang. This is 1 teaspoon freshly ground black pepper. If you use pre-ground one, you might want to use a little bit more. 3 tablespoons minced garlic. And mix everything well. I'm going to cover and set that aside. On your kitchen countertop is fine. Okay, now let's soak the glass noodle. So you see how the bowl is too small for this long noodle. I don't want to take out the big bowl just for this, so I'm just going to wet the end. A few minutes later, go back to it, and then you can just flip it to the other side, and it will be pliable enough so you can have all the noodle completely submerged in water. And I'm going to set this aside. Now it's softened, so I'm going to just bend it a bit. I'm going to add more water. So I added more water, and soon you will be able to submerge the whole thing. Let's wash the chicken. Small wedge of lemon. This will get rid of any funky smell. Okay. Give it a final rinse. This is my 6-quart size pot. You will need a pot that's about this big. Total amount of water that we need is 10 cups to cook the chicken, but I'm going to cook the chicken in 6 cups of water first. Okay, so I'm going to boil the water. Water is boiling. So I'm waiting for the scum to form up onto the surface. I'm going to rinse this in a cold cup of water. Okay, so that's enough. Now I'm going to reduce the heat. I'll say medium. Half teaspoon black peppercorn. And then this is 1 ounce of garlic cloves. You see the boil? That's what we're looking for. Close the lid and simmer for 25 minutes. I'm going to turn off the heat. So I pulled out the chicken on a colander like this. It's very hot, so I'm using this pot holder thingy. There's a reason why you need to remove the chicken, the meat, when it's hot. I will explain as I go. Okay, so now all the meat removed from the bones. So let me see if I can handle this now. It's still hot. You see the cartilage right there? I don't want to eat that, so I'm going to trim that off, but it's going to go back in the pot. Save it. It's not so hot anymore, so I'm going to shred the meat. Cartilage. When you see skin like this, put back in the cartilage bowl because it's going to go back in the pot as well. Remember the sauce that we made earlier? We're going to need about 3 tablespoons. Okay, you have to do this right now. It doesn't happen with the white meat. With the dark meat, if you don't season right away, it's going to develop some funky smell. Okay, so this I'm going to cover and set it aside. We're gonna continue to make the stock. This time I'm going to add some aromatics. So this is half ounce of fresh ginger. You don't have to peel it, but it's been rinsed. Árbol chilies, I'm going to break them in half. And you guys know what this is? The giant scallion that I showed you. Sometimes it comes with the root like this. Then I will trim it off and then clean it really well and dry. So I'm drying some more scallion root and then the shiitake mushroom stems. They're really dry now. I'm going to smell it. Really intense flavor. I'm going to make vegetable stock with this later. I mean, not for this recipe. If you don't have it, don't worry, it's not required. Korean radish, just big chunks. I'm going to just wipe off the scum. I'm not going to clean the pot because at the end everything will be poured through a sieve. So this will be enough. All the chicken bones that we saved go back in with the cartilage that I cut off and the skins as well. The radish, root, and ginger and the árbol chilies. I'm going to add 2 cups of more water. Or let me explain. Bones or even vegetable or chunks of meat, when they are being simmered in just enough water, they tend to release more flavors. That's why I'm not adding more water at the moment. When things are being simmered in like a big pool of water, they just swim around in the pot. So it's better to have just enough amount of water. I'm going to put the lid on and bring to a full boil. Is it boiling? Yes. Stir everything so it's not sticking to the bottom. So now I'm going to put the lid on and reduce the heat to medium and then set the timer for 1.5 hours. This is 2 cups of water. I'm going to set it aside right next to the pot. I will keep coming back to the pot and see if it needs more water. Total cups of water needed for this recipe is 10 cups. This has been simmering for about 35 minutes. That's gonna be a really good stock. Okay, now 15 minutes to go. I want to take a look at it. I'm going to add all the remaining water. Guys, it's done. I can tell it's super concentrated, very rich, flavorful stock. You know how when you cook something, you let things rest? It applies to stock as well. I turned off the heat already, so I'm just going to wait for 10 minutes. Wow, look at this. Look how deep and rich this looks. We just have to rinse once. Okay, set this aside. I'm going to cut right there. I'm going to trim the root part and remove the outer layer. Cut it, that's about 5 centimeters or a little over 2 inches. Oh, split in the middle lengthwise. Let's boil some water in a small pot. Scallions, I'm going to give it a quick rinse. I'm going to wash the perilla leaves as well. I like to add just a little bit of half teaspoon salt, and I'm going to blanch bean sprout first. So I think the bean sprout is ready. It's been in the water for about 20-30 seconds or so. Okay. I'm not going to rinse in cold water, just let it cool. Now it's scallion. I'm trying to get rid of the slimy stuff, and I think it's ready. So it's been in the pot for about a minute. Turn off the heat. The noodle is completely submerged in water. Shiitake mushroom. They're soft. Squeeze out all the water. Now I'm going to remove the stem. Thinly slice. Okay guys, so what I'm gonna do now is combine the bean sprout with the chicken. You don't have to mix it, just set it aside. So now the mushrooms and then the green onions mixed with the sauce that we saved. This smells good. And this is so Korean. Look how red this is. Woo! Cover and set it aside as well. And then the reason that I didn't mix everything all together is because bean sprout and then the chicken will be added later. This is like super concentrated stock, so we're gonna have to dilute it with water. So 50-50. So 4 cups of stock now with the 4 cups of water. Let's boil this. Okay guys, now this is the part that we all been waiting for. Our stock is finally ready, and let's start to add the vegetables and all that stuff. Close the lid and bring it to a boil. Now it's boiling, so I'm going to reduce the heat. Wow, look at that. Looks good. I'm going to close the lid and then set the timer for 15 minutes. At the same time, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to boil water for the glass noodle. You can tell it's very well soaked. Now I'm going to add a full teaspoon of salt. The noodle will cook for about not long since we soaked for quite some time. Let's see. You're just gonna have to get a strand and just taste. You could also tell the noodle is getting plumper. I think this is already ready. For soup, I want this noodle to cook extra soft. So I'm just going to let it cook for just about a minute longer. So the noodle is ready. And I'm not actually going to rinse, but try to shake off all the water as much as you can. Okay, so since we are not going to use the noodle right away, I'm going to add half teaspoonful of soy sauce and mix. This is another half teaspoon of sesame seed oil. You always do this to glass noodle when you don't use right away. Okay, I cut it just once. Cut it one more time. And set this aside. Okay, after we add this, just 5 minutes is all we need. Let's bring it to a boil again. So trim off the stem part. We stack them well and then fold it in half and about an inch. Smells so good. I love this herb. Looking nice. Can you guys see that? The chili oil floating on top. We didn't add chili oil to this, but since you bloom the gochugaru for a long time, that's the result you can get. 5 minutes have passed. Looks beautiful. This is 1 teaspoon of beef bouillon. This is a Korean made, so let's add that. 1 teaspoon of hondashi, that is Japanese fish stock powder. All the perilla leaves. Okay, and stir. If you're not gonna invest in those powders, then you can just add just a little bit more salt, but I do recommend that you add MSG to this. And I'm going to give it a taste. This is ready, looking beautiful. Wow, it is so deeply flavored and spicy. And I love the hint of the perilla. This is really delicious. That's all I can say. Serve this with a bowl of rice. Since I'm going to add the noodle later and I'm going to eat it with rice, I'm going to add a little bit more salt to this. I'm just adding a pinch. Very rich in flavor. If you are a soup person, then you are watching the right channel, because Korean cuisine has so many soups. This soup should be served really hot, like piping hot. Here's the big soup bowl, and make sure you serve it in a big bowl like this, because later when you're ready to eat, most people put the rice in the soup bowl. That's how you eat it. If you're not gonna eat the noodle right away, you can keep it in the refrigerator, but never in the soup. Let's assume that the noodle is cold and the bowl is cold. I'm going to microwave this, heat this up. Okay, now it's steaming. Looks good. Guys, it's ready. This is how you serve it with the bowl of rice. This is like a soup lover's dream meal. It's hot and spicy and invigorating. You're gonna really love it. I hope you give it a try. Thank you very, very much for watching. Until next time, bye bye.